We begin the current Daf Mesechtes Bava Kama Daf Kuf Ches. We begin on the bottom of Kuf Zayin Mebeis, 3 lines up on the bottom of the Amid, where the Gemara continues with another teaching from Bava Kama, and it continues on this theme regarding this Toyin Tainus Ganav that we're talking about, regarding that the Shomer is also liable for the halacha of Kefil, and the Gemara wonders regarding this halacha of Kefil and of Chaimish, which is when you admit. What is actually the source of the obligation? The Gemara will explain the ramification of that, which is related to a case of Toyin Tainus Ganav. Throughout the entire world. So discussing today's daf are Nishba v'Hoida. So in general, when someone takes an oath, swearing falsely, and then he admits that he swore falsely, the halach is you misham kerem b'chemes v'ashim. You have to pay the principal, an added fifth. That's another 20% that you're liable for. And the carbon asham. Now, nishba v'akar bo edim, but let's say you swore falsely and then witnesses come. Now, the edim is automatic kefil, but if you swore falsely and then edim came, so then you'll pay kefil and asham. You won't pay a chaimish, because chaimish is included in the kefil. Chaimish v'kfel, the Gemara wants to know, you can't be chayiv. If one pays kefil, it becomes exempt from paying chaimish. The Gemara wants to know, but what is chaimish v'kfel b'trei gavri mai? What happens if it's related to two people? Let's say two people did it together. What would the halacha be? Could you have chaimish and kefil then, or would you say that no, you can't have? You're exempt from chaimish when there's kefil. Let's say a trei chumash or trei kfil b'chad gavama. What happens if one person? You're right. You can't have kefil and chaimish, but could you have two chaimishes or two kefils in one person? What happens? And this gets also interesting. So we know that the halacha is that a ganav is chayiv kefil. What happens if a shomer he paid to the owner, and he didn't want to swear? He could have gotten himself off the hook and said it was stolen from him, but he didn't want to. The guy asked me to watch it. Fine, I'll pay him even when it's stolen. Then you find the ganav. So who do you pay the kefil to? The mishabakad netzlai, to the shomer, because the shomer became the owner of the object when he paid the original owner. So now he gets not only the principal, he gets the double. He doubles his money now by having paid for the geneva. Now, what happens if nishba v'loyotz l'shalom? What happens if he swears, he doesn't want to pay, and then you find the ganav? So then you pay kefil l'balabakad, not to the shomer. The shomer got off the hook; it goes to the owner. Now, the question becomes, however, what happens if tavu b'ayim l'shomer? What happens if the owner say, "I gave you to watch this. What happened to it?" And the nishba, he swears in court that it was stolen from him, but then he feels bad. V'shilim, he pays him anyway, and then v'hokagan they find the ganav. Then the question is kefil. Who gets the kefil? On the one hand, he made him swear, so like he was really off the hook, so it should go to the owner. On the other hand, he ended up paying him, so maybe it should go to the shomer. That's the question, as we find regarding hook or aganav. Regarding, the question is, recognizing the thief, who makes the claims of the thief, and hoida ganav, if the ganav admits to one of them, to the shomer, to the baal, if when he paid, when he didn't pay, and Ma'id B'Kanas Pater, that also relates to halacha. When someone admits regarding a penalty, he's going to be pater. So the question is, if he admits to the shomer or to the owner, when the guy didn't pay, who's going to be the one that he can admit to? Who's considered the owner in regards to his getting off the hook with Ma'id B'Kanas? So we begin the current daf on the bottom of Kuf Zayin Amid Beis, where the halacha we learned in Perek Meruba and Daf Samachim at Beis is that mammon she'ein mishtalim b'rosh. What does that mean? Mammon she'ein mishtalim b'rosh. Mammon she'ein mishtalim b'rosh means to say that you're not paying the money as it is, because there's kefil with it. We said that then you don't add on a fifth. And the Gemara in Daf Kavav and Alv on the previous daf, we also learned, im mishabo edim. We said that if witnesses had already come and then hoida, then he admits. So the halacha is, meaning if witnesses came before, that's what we said, that im mishabo edim hoida, we said misham tashmi kefil v'asham. We said you're going to pay only kefil and carbon asham, but it doesn't pay a chaimish for the shavua, because it's subsumed in the halacha of kefil. When there's kefil, there's no halacha of chaimish. So the Gemara has the following question: Bayram Bachama. He wants to know that who is this that exempts? Meaning, what is this that exempts from the chaimish? Is it the mammon of kefil? Once you're paying kefil, you don't pay chaimish? Or is it the shvua that machayev kefil, that oath then exempts you from the liability of the chaimish, as the Gemara explains. Mamman ha'mechayev kefil, is it the money that obligates you in kefil? Poitrim in chaimish, that exempts you from the chaimish. Maybe no shvua mechayev also kefil. The oath that obligates you kefil, that's poitrasim in chaimish, that exempts you from the chaimish. Meaning, if you made an oath on something that obligates you on kefil, so though the oath is, and then you admit is what's mechayev you, but if you already have on that oath witnesses came, which now obligates you in kefil, so then you're not going to be chayav chaimish. So the Gemara says heichidami, which Rashi says, in other words, what's the nafka? What would be the case that would be what's the difference? Isn't it the same thing? You swear falsely, which would be mechayev you if you admitted chaimish, but witnesses come, so you chayav kefil. So who cares if it's the money that you're paying kefil or the oath? The Gemara says, I'll tell you. Could go in the following case. Shaton Tain is gone to Benishba. The Shomer claims it was stolen. And he swears in court, I swear that it was stolen. And then, in another court, he goes and he claims it was lost. And he swears to that effect. Says you continue to have Now, witnesses come regarding the first claim, that when he swore that it was stolen, it was by him, and therefore it's chayav kefil for his toin tainas ganav. Then v'hoida abasraisa, this guy, the shomer, he ultimately admitted that his second oath of that it was lost was a lie also. What's the halacha? Would he be chayav a chaimish on the last shvua of it was lost or not? So the Gemara explains. Mamman ha'mechayav kefil. Do you say this money, this pekadin, which is obligating him in kefil? Then paitrim in a chaimish. He can't be chayav chaimish. You already chayav kefil on this money because of your first oath that you swore falsely, and the Eidim came and said, this claim that you said it was Geneva from you is not true because you have it by you. Maybe you say, no, the oath which obligates him in kefil, that petrase min hachaimish, that is what exempts him from the chaimish. So for example, if let's say he would have admitted now on the first oath after the witnesses testified, although generally admitting obligates you in chaimish, you'd be patur from chaimish, because that oath already made you liable for kefil. But now that vashvu basraisa, now that your admission on your false oath is on the second oath, that oath never obligated you in kefil. There's no witnesses on that. There's no tain times ganav on that. Maybe it's chayav chaimish. Maybe you should be chayav chaimish, which is halacha. Anytime you swear falsely regarding the pagan and you admit, you're chayav chaimish. Which Rashi says a question. He says, wait, why can't you say that you already fulfilled your obligation to the owner, which you just said the svar on the previous daf, with the first oath? I thought this is not a shvuah. Isn't this not a shvuah hadayanin, like we said, because you already didn't have to swear anymore because you already swore the first time of Tain Tan's Ganav? He says no, because when do we say that svara? That's where witnesses came on the second oath, which we say that on an empty oath, you can't be chayav kefil. Meaning when there's witnesses, when you already gave a first shvuah, and then there's a second shvuah, and witnesses come on that second shvuah, then we say you can't be chayav kefil because that's not a shvuah hadayanin. You already took care of your obligations to the owner with the first oath. The second oath cannot be mechayav kefil. But where you did hoida, where you admitted, not edim, when you were maida, then the Gemara told us on Daf Kovav Medalev that if you swore 5 times regarding chaimish and the asham, there's no difference between his own oath or the shvuah hadayanin. As long as you're denying money, you could be chayav and chayav and chayav and chayav and chayav and chayav. So therefore, that's why you could be chayiv. So that's the question that we're asking. Would you be chayiv chaimish in this case? Because the shvuah was not mechayiv kefil? Or would you be pater from the chaimish because this mammon was already mechayiv kefil? So Rabbi says, Tashma, let's bring a raya from a brisa. If someone said to someone from the street, meaning someone who's not a shomer on his shar, a random guy from the street, says, where's my ox that you stole? Boy says, I didn't steal your ox. I want you to swear to me. He says, he answers, he responds, yes. He takes the oath. Now, Rashi tells us, he says, the only reason why we're saying that he took an oath is only because we need it for the next case, the seifa, of when he admits to it on his own. But for the halach of kefil that we're going to say right now, obviously it'd be chayiv even without a shvuah. You don't have to have a shvuah to be chayiv for kefil. But either way, and the witnesses testify that he stole it. Okay, misham tishum kefil. He has to be kefil. That's like a regular classic ganav that's found with the stolen object by in his possession. That's why Rashi says why he needed the shvuah over here. If he admitted on his own, he will pay the principal and that at fifth and asham, which is all the time. Anytime you deny money, and turns out that you were lying on the oath, and then you admit, says the Gemara, wait a second. Over here, witnesses are incriminating him for kefil, and we see in. Only if he admitted on his own is the brisa saying that he would be chayiv for keren chayim b'shul asham. But it sounds like aval hoida achar edim. But if he admitted not on his own, only after the witnesses, then they wouldn't be chayiv for the chaimish. Wait a second. We would entertain to say that shvuah machayav is a kefil, that the oath that obligates him in kefil is paitrasim in a chaimish. It's a din in the shvuah, not in the mammon. That's what exempts him from the chaimish. So then, amai hoida achar edim loy. Then why, if he admitted after the witnesses, would you say that he would not be chayiv on the chaimish? Mechti, let's see. This oath is not what is holding him liable for kefil, because he's not a toy and tainas ganav. He's not a shomer. He is a ganav. A ganav is liable unrelated to the oath, which Rashi even had to point that out, because you're right, what has nothing to do with an oath. So if that's the case, then then his oath should obligate him in the chaimish. Why is it only of hoidim ha'atzmai? Elav shma minah. Rather, we can infer from this brisa, it's mammon ha'machayv kefil. If this money you're already liable kefil for it, which you are over here because of edim, by trusting in the chaimish, it'll exempt you from the chaimish maminah. We bring a raya from this brisa to answer the question, which therefore in the case of toin times ganav v'nishba, because of toin times of v'nishba, which is the case that we explained, and then edim come on the kamais and they admits in the basraisa, the halacha would be that he would be pater from the chaimish. That answers that question. Now, a similar type of a discussion says the Gemara Boy Ravina. Chaimish or kefela betray gavri. What happens if there's a halach of chaimish and kefil with two people? What's the halach? The Gemara says, what's the case? A guy gave over his ox to two people to watch. And they both say it was stolen. Now, one guy swore to the effect, and he ended up admitting. The other guy also swore that it was stolen, and for him, witnesses came and said that, no, he still has it. What's the halacha? So the Gemara explains. Do we say, it's only regarding one person, that the Torah was particular, that you're not going to pay chaimish and kefil, and as the Bach adds on the words avol betray gavri, but by two people, yeah, one guy could pay kefil and one guy could pay the chaimish. I didn't know. It's not din the gavri, din the chavtze. It's on one money. The Torah is particular. On one monies, you cannot be paying chaimish and kefil. It's one money. It's one shar. So you want to take a little sense. It's not clear what the halacha would be in such a situation. Another question. Boira Papa. Today chumshi or today kefei b'chad gavamai. What's halacha regarding two chaimishes or two kefils by one person? So you must say, what's the case talking about? For example, Shatoin Tainus Avad, he claimed it was lost. Benishba, he swore to the fact Vahid, and he ended up admitting that I was lying. It really wasn't lost. And again, he went and he claimed that it was lost. Benishba, they swore again, Vahid, and he admitted again. So that would be one case. Oinami, similarly, Shatoin Tainus Ganav, which that would be regarding two chaimishes. Or he swore 20 times Gam Nishba Bo Edim, where he claimed it was stolen and he swore and witnesses came. And then again he made the claim that it was stolen, and then subsequently witnesses came. So that would be a case of two kafels, which Taisa asked the question that Shabsi keeps on asking in the Masa B'chaza B'toyin. It says, how could a court make him swear if it's already exempt in Bezdin with the first oath, and even if he subsequently makes a claim after the first oath that it was stolen, why would they make him swear? It's already from the first oath that he swore falsely as Chayv and comes out that he wasn't denying anything, whether he was claiming that it was stolen after the first oath. And says, don't say that they came in front of a different Bezdin that didn't know that it was exempt, they made him swear, because since he swore based on Bezdin that didn't know that Chayv Kefil, the Gemara tells us that he's ready Yotze B'Shur Rishayna, so there's no swara to be Mechalik. Says Taisa, it's talking about where the Baal B'Kodin said to him, after he was found out to be a liar with the first oath, says, I want you to be a Shem Mechinim as you were originally. And then again he claims that after I made you a Shem Mechinim, it was stolen, and he exempts himself that he's not Chayv B'Noitzin, just that he was made explicit in a Shem Mechinim. It's a tema, because if that's the case, then it's not Chad B'Mayna, because now he's really making a deposit a second time. So what's the difference if he's taking from his pocket and giving it to him? What's the difference if he didn't take it, he just said, well, it was still here to be a Shem Mechinim? So Taisa is not so excited exactly what the case would be. But Akaponim, it's a chaz of a toin tainus ganav. So that would make it two kefils. What's the halacha? Mirmin, do we say trei gavni memoina kamer achman d'loy nishtalma lebechad memoina? Do we say that it's two types of monetary liabilities? Meaning, you can't have a kefil and a chaimish on one monies. Here it's one type. It's two kefils or two chaimishes. Maybe you would be chayiv. Like the no, trei memoina merachman d'loy nishtalma lebechad memoina. It's two monies, two penalties. The Torah says you cannot put on one money. It's either chaimish or kefil. And here it's also two monies. It's two chaimishes or two kefils, and therefore maybe you cannot be liable. So the Gemara says, okay, Tashma, let's bring a raya. Let's say the Amar Rava. Rava says in the pasuk in Vayikra, says v'chamishisav, and his fifths, Yisrael Alav, will add on when he swears falsely. Which a Torah Ribsa Chamishi is harba l'kernach, as the Torah is including many fifths for one principle, meaning if you deny and then you deny, and the same thing is regarding two kefils. You see from this that yes, the Torah holds you liable for the same penalty more than once. It's just two different ones where the Torah said no, it's either one or the other. Now, related discussion says the Gemara, Tavu'u Bailim l'Shomer. If the owner claimed from the custodian his object, v'nishba, and the shomer swore that it was stolen, and he was let off the hook. Then v'shile, he went lefnim adin, he went beyond the letter of law, even though he was already exempt. He paid the owner. Now v'huk raganav, and they actually recognize the actual thief. Kefil lami, says the Gemara, who does the kefil that the ganav has to pay to go to? So it's a machlekes Abaye and Rav. Abaye says Labala B'Kodin. He says to the owner of the object. Rav says no, Labisha B'Kodin. That's like the one that the object was by, which is the shomer. So the Gemara explains each of their opinions. Abaye Labala B'Kodin, he says it goes to the owner. You know why? Even the atrache, since the shomer made the owner go through the effort until he brought him to court, bishvua, that he made him take an oath and to let himself off the hook. So even though he subsequently paid, l'makan like fela, the owner does not transfer the rights of the kefil to the shomer, even though he paid him. But that's, you paid me for the, fine, go ahead, pay me, but I still own it, and I'm not transferring the rights of the kefil to you because you made me go through the tircha, coming to court to let you off the hook with the shvur. Rami says no. Rabbi says lemisha b'kod, that's lie. It goes to the one that the deposit would mean to the shomer. You know why? Kim the shilim, the guy paid. Maknilei. So the owner transfers to the shomer kfeila, the rights to the kefil at the time when he pays him with the principal. Okay, you paid for it, fine. Now you get all the rights to it. Now when they find the ganav, that goes to the shomer. Says the Gemara, interesting, but what they're really disagreeing about is the inference, a diuk, in the Mishnah that we learned in Mesechtes Bava Metzia. What does the Mishnah say? So the Mishnah says like this: Hamafkid etzel chaveiroi. If someone deposits by his friend behema or kelim, animal or vessels, v'nignavu esha abdu, and it's either stolen or gets lost. Now, this shomer could really get himself off the hook because it was really stolen or lost. But shilam l'eretz l'shava, he pays and he doesn't want to swear. Shari Amr, because they said really shemechin nishba b'yitzer. The truth is, an unpaid custodian can really swear and get himself off the hook with the oath. So it comes out nimtza ganav, when they do find the ganav, masham teshlim kefil. So the ganav will have to pay double, or tavach hamacha be even slaughtered or sold it. Masham teshlim bava kama daf, you have to pay 4 or 5 times the amount. Now lemihu masham, says the Mishnah. Who is he going to pay to? The Mishnah that's like to the shomer, because he acquired it by paying for it. What happens if nishba b'lo ratzal l'sham? What happens if he swears and he doesn't want to pay? Well, it's not my fault. Nishman shield. It was stolen from me. And then they subsequently find the ganim. Again, the ganim is going to have to pay kevel. If it was slaughtered or sold, he's going to have to pay 4 or 5 times. Now, l'miu masham, who's he going to pay to? L'bala b'gadon. So the owner of the b'gadon, because the shomer swore and he didn't pay for it. Now, the Gemara explains Abai daik mirdesha and Rava daik misefer. What does that mean? Abai daik mirdesha is medaik from the opening words of the Mishnah. What did the Mishnah say? Shilim v'leirotza lishava. If the shomer paid and he didn't want to swear, then he gets the kefil. Now, time in the leirotza lishava. The reason is because he didn't want to swear. As you continue to base. Now, hanishba. What's the diuk? The inference is, if he swore, even though he ultimately paid for it, but he made the owner go through the effort of him exempting himself with a shvuah, then lamim shalom. So who's the ganav going to pay the kefil to? L'bala b'gadon, to the owner deposit, which was like the logic, like Abba explained before. But Rava daik misefer. Rava infers from the next case of the Mishnah. What are those words over there? The guy swears and he doesn't want to pay, then he doesn't get the kefil. Now, time in the reason is because he doesn't want to pay. The inference is hashim if he does pay. The av bisha nishba, even though he originally did swear, who are you going to pay it to? The Mishnah, so he's going to go to the shomer. So there's contradictory inferences in this Mishnah. Who is going to get the kefil when he swears and then pays? Now, the Gemara now has to ask on each one. Labai kasha seif. According to Bai, the seif is difficult because it sounds like nishba v'leratzel l'shalom. But if it's nishba and he was ratzel l'shalom and he does pay, then it would go to him. Chabai would tell you no. Halachtan, you have to read the Mishnah like this: nishba, if a guy swears, v'leratzel l'shalom koidim hashvuah. He didn't want to pay before the oath, meaning ella la'achar shvuah. He only wants to pay after he swore. Lemim Hashem, are you going to pay to? The Bava Kama Daf. Then you pay to the owner of the object. Meaning it's exactly saying his case, not the diak. Because he's saying that the case is actually saying what he's saying by saying that he didn't want to pay before the shvuah. He wants to pay after the shvuah. It's too late. It's going to the Bava Kama Daf because you made him go through the shvuah. Now, says the Rava Kasha Reisha. According to Rava, the Reisha is difficult because the diak there is mashma like a baya. Rava would say, no, you have to read the Mishnah like this. Shilem. This it says that if he pays and he doesn't want to swear, but it sounds like that if he does swear, then he's not going to get it. It just means like this. It means if he pays, meaning even though he swore, but he didn't want to stay with his oath. Ella shilim, but he pays. Who is he going to pay? So that says exactly like Rava, that if you pay, even though you swore, then you're going to go. It's going to go to the shomer as long as you paid. So that's what it means. V'leiratzel l'shalom doesn't mean v'leiratzel l'shava doesn't mean but if you did want to swear and you swore, then you're not going to get it. No, it just means he didn't want to stay with his shvuah. He just paid, and that means to say even if he did swear, but if he paid, he's going to get it. So again, each of those inferences are resolved by the other opinion. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more complex, but similarly regarding this idea of tavu bailim l'shaymer. So you have to pay attention to this case. If the owner makes a claim to his shaymer, says, hey, where's my bicycle? V'nishba, the shaymer swears that it was stolen from him, and he's off the hook. The hooker aganav. And now they find out, they recognize who is the thief that took the bike. Now, listen to the case. Tavu shaymer. The shaymer he goes and he makes a claim to the thief, say, hey, he takes him to court, you stole it. V'haida. The thief admits to stealing the bike. Now, wait a second. Tavu bailim. Then the real owner of the bike, he comes and v'kafar. The Ganev denies the claim of the owner that he stole it. And Veviu Edim. Then the owner brings witnesses who saw him steal it. Very interesting question. Says the Gemara, Mi nifter Ganev. Would the thief be exempt from the kefil? Like whenever you have a moed b'knas, when you admit to a penalty, you're actually exempt. Would he be exempt b'hoidas with the admission that he made to the shomer originally? We admitted to the robbery? Or maybe he would not be exempt with what he admitted to the shomer because since, as Rashi explains, since the shomer already swore, if you remember the case, to the bailim, he's already out of the picture. So it's not in his shmir anymore. So what are you going and making a claim to the Ganev that he's admitting to you, and that's like he's off from the Knas of Kefil? That's not Oidah. So that's the question, what would the halacha be in that case? Some Rabbi says, Im be'emes nishba, if the shomer swore truthfully when he claimed that it was forcibly stolen from him, and it turns out that it's true, it was forcibly stolen from him, and therefore he was really exempt, then nifter haganev by da shomer. Actually, that's a case that the real thief will be exempt on what he admitted to the shomer. Interesting. Why? Says Rashi in Masechet Nifter, because since the shomer is obviously trustworthy, Anan Tzahadi, we, the world, could testify that if they would find the animal, the owner would be pleased that it should go right back into the possession of this shomer. So therefore, it's on this shomer to try to find it, because he's trustworthy and he's like still in the position of a shomer, and this claim is a claim, and therefore the confession of the Ganev is a confession. So actually, then the Ganev would be exempt. But in b'sheka nishba, but if let's say he swore falsely, let's say he claimed the animal died, or broke a leg, or was taken captive, or it was stolen forcibly, and he comes and he finds that it's not like that. Oh, since it's revealed that he was a shakra and he was a liar, so Anan Tzahadi, we testify that the owner wants nothing to do with the shomer anymore. And therefore, when he makes a claim to the Ganev, it's not a claim. You have no say here in the matter. Then like niftar gan by the shomer. So then the thief will not be off the hook with what he admits to the shomer. So interesting case, an interesting answer, depending on what turns out to be the character of the shomer. Another question. Boi Rava. Rava has the following question. Omad lishava b'sheker. What happens if the guy, just like interesting the way the Gemara is saying it, he got up to swear falsely. V'lohi nichuhu. But they didn't let him. He didn't get a chance to swear. Mao, what's the halacha? Do we say from the fact that he never swore, so he's still considered trustworthy to the owner of the object? And then hence, like we said before, his claim would be a claim, and then the admission of the thief would be admission. Or maybe, since he got up to swear, so he's not considered trustworthy anymore to the owners. So they want to take it, let it stand. It's not clear what would be in that case. Now, that's one version of Rabba's question. Rav Kana Masni Hachi, he learned the question like this. However, Rav Yomi Masni Hachi, he learned the question differently. That by Rabba's question was, Nishba l'sheker mahu. If he swore falsely, what's the halacha? Do we say that it's still imposed upon him to find the thief, because since he swore falsely, he's going to ultimately regret and pay. So therefore, when he's trying to find the thief, he's still invested, and therefore his claim would be a claim, or not, would we say that no, if he swore falsely, you're out of the picture? Rashi says some have the girsa, not nishba l'sheker, but in be'emes nishba, that if he swore falsely, if he swore truthfully, that he was not negligent, then the ganav is not pater, because since he swore he swore truthfully, then he's off the hook. And then, meaning from the first version of Rava, like the opposite of what we said, that because now it's not his responsibility anymore to go to find the ganav. If he swore falsely, similar to what we're saying over here in the second version of Nishba l'Sheker, well, since he was negligent, so the ganav would be exempt what he admits to the shemer, because if he swore falsely, it's still his responsibility to pay it up. Which Rashi says, no, he likes the first version, which is primary, because here on this version you could ask, if that's the case, so what's Rava asking, Amad l'shava l'sheker, and v'lo nichu, and they didn't let him out with salacha, meaning, going back on the first version of Rava, if that's how you're explaining, so what's this question? If he's literally swearing, where he's removed from court, you're saying it's not his responsibility anymore not to swear and not to pay until you bring witnesses that he's negligent. So you say that the ganav is exempt, where he's still under shemer to try to claim it because he swore falsely for sure. Where he didn't swear, for sure would be on him to pay. So Rashi just doesn't like that. Girsa Bava Kama Daf, regarding this second Girsa, says we're going to take a let it stand. Rabbi Yomi had learned that Rava asked that a question is nishba l'sheker ma what's halacha? Would we say that okay, even though you swore falsely, meaning, but you're still going to have charat at one point, so you're still invested. So would that make his tvi into tvi and the guy's zada zata? It's not clear. Now the Gemara brings an opposite type of a case. Tavu bailam l'shomer. What happens if the owner makes a claim to a shomer saying, "Hey, where's my bicycle? I asked you to watch." Vishilim, and he pays. So not like the first discussions that we have regarding he swore. He pays. V'hokra ganav. Then they recognize who the thief is. Now listen to the case. Tavu bailam. The original owner takes him to court. Then he admits. Tavu shomer. The shomer makes a claim from a kaf and he denies it. And then the shomer brings witnesses. So the question is, nifter ganav by does bailam? Now is this like a flip of the first case? Do we say that the thief is exempt what he admitted to the owner, or not? So the Gemara explains the question. Do we say motzi amalei shomer labailam, that the shomer could tell the owners, Atan you, kivin d'shaklisu l'chodimei, once you took your money, you're out of the picture. What are you going claiming it from him and now he's admitting it to you? He's a ma'id b'knas. To me, he denied it. No, he's not ma'id b'knas. To me, he always denied it. They could tell him, just like you did us a favor that you paid lifnei mishras, although you could have been exempt. So therefore, we're also going to do, it's also on us to do you a favor. We're going to try to go and find the thief. Shakilna anan didan, that we're going to take ours, and you take yours. In other words, their claim is a bona fide claim because they're still invested because he did them a favor and he wants to do them a favor. And if that's the case, he already admitted to the owner, and if he would be potter from the kefil, what's the halacha? Says the Gemara, take a let it stand. It's not clear what the halacha would be in this case. A related discussion says the Gemara, Itmar, we learned, nigneva ba'inus. If the object was stolen forcibly, meaning what's called listim is doing armed bandits, which is shem esacher, although he's usually chayma ganeva, but this like more of like an oinus, he's put in such a case. And then v'hukra ganav, then they recognize the thief and they could force him and they could get the money back from that ganav. So what's the halacha? What does that mean? So the Amar Bayi says like this: Im shemechinim, if this custodian, who it was stolen by armed bandits, is an unpaid custodian, Ratza, if he wants to, Oisei Maidin, he could take this armed bandit to court, meaning he could pay the owner the value, and he'll get the money out from the thief. Ratza, if he wants to, Nishba, he could just swear to the owners, and he'll be off the hook. Obviously, it's oinus, and the owners will have to go and get the money from the thief. Now, Im Shemesachahu, if he's a paid custodian, which has higher levels of responsibility, even though he's really exempt by armed bandits. But over here, since we already recognize who the thief is, and he's not going to lose anything because of him, to go and just put in the effort to get the money, he should pay the owners, and Oisi Imaydin, he should then take the Ganev to court and get the money from him. Ve'ina Nishba, and he shouldn't let himself off the hook by just swearing. So although it's really an Einis, but in such a situation of Hokar Ganev, we hold more responsibility on the Shemesach. Rav Amay says no. Both should pay and bring the Ganev to court, because it's a mitzvah on the Shomer to try to get the object that was lost. Says Gemara, Lema Pliga, let's say Rava, who just said this teaching, disagrees, he sent the following halacha. Nigneva ba'ainis. If something was stolen forcibly, like armed bandits, this exact case, and they recognize the thief, so he says, if he's an unpaid custodian, so like we said before, if he wants to, he could try to litigate. If he wants, he could just swear and get himself off the hook. If he's a paid custodian, no, then he has to be busy with the case, and he cannot just swear, which is like a baya. So seemingly that disagrees with Rava. Rava would tell you, no, it's not true. I can tell you that Rav Huna bar Avim was talking about Kagan Shekadim and Nishba, where he already swore before they recognized the thief. Oh, so that's why he differentiates and he says that the Shemechinam already was done with his Shmira once he swore, and that's why he's going to be off the hook. But if he didn't, he would agree to me that he would have to go ahead and litigate the court case. But says, how could you say that about Ratza Aisimay Din Ratza Nishbakam? He said, if you want to, you can do this, you can do that. How are you saying that he already swore? It sounds like he could swear. Says, and this is what he was saying was, Ratza Shemechinam, if the Shemechinam wants to, Oimid B'Shvasi. No, he already swore. If he wants to, he could maintain his oath. Ratza Aisimay Din, if he wants to, he could do he could go get involved in the case. So he's claiming that he doesn't disagree. Now the Gemara brings a third opinion. Rabbi Zuti Ba'ilahachi, he asks like this. Nignava ba'ainis. If let's say it was forcibly stolen, the hirser ganev bebeis shomer, and the ganev put it back into the house of the shomer, umeisa b'pshia, and then subsequently this animal died with the negligence of the shomer. What's Allah? So what's the question? The Gemara explains. Mirin, do we say kibin the nignava ba'ainis? Since it was already stolen forcibly from his possession, his shmira is done. Now, the reason why we're calling this a third opinion, because this is not like Abaya or Rava. They're not saying that his shmira is automatically terminated once it's stolen from him ba'ainis. He's saying his shmira is done. So therefore, you could entertain to say that even though he was a pesheya and then ultimately died, he's a patik. What does that have to do with me? It's pesheya. It's not my shmira. I didn't know, keeping the hadra, since it was brought back, hadra l'shmirasa goes right back to his shmira. So he's going to take a little stand. It's not clear what the halacha would be. Thank you to any time for hosting us.